Okay, today's little project I got going. I have my 9mm and it had the factory trigger that's really clunky. And so I'm going to hit these two buttons here after I push the top back just a little. I'm going to snap the trigger and it comes apart really easily. This part right here and this part right here come together, and that's what releases your trigger. When your trigger goes back, it folds that down and it goes past it and it comes back here to this. And this right here, this right here, and this right here have to be filed and polished because from the factory they have some burrs on them and they have to have those taken off. And so I use a points file, the smallest points file you can get, to go in here and I polish them up. Now I did most of this yesterday and I've already got them really close. They just need tuned up just a little. I went ahead and I took all the burrs out of the slide with this file. I had obviously more of this taken out, and that's easy to do too. You can you just pull this back a little bit, this pops out, your barrel comes out, and then you can have a replacement barrel to put in that easy, or you can get in here and you can polish the burrs out of your slide. We had a burr right here and a burr about right here, and on this side we had a burr back here towards the back. And almost every gun made these days is that way. There will be some kind of a defect going on when you get them from the factory, and you have to go ahead and polish that up yourself or take it to a gunsmith and pay a bunch of money. I don't have a bunch of money, so then I took this part right here, and where it comes to meet, I just filed it off, and it had some burrs right here on the corners. That's right where they normally would have the burrs, will be right there on the corner. And so I just went ahead and I'll file that down just a little bit more. I still didn't like the complete feel of it. And this right here, I just have been using the end to scrape across it and just polishing it up. And I've got that, as you can see, I don't know how much it's zoomed in on that you can see, but I got that polished down well enough that it really has a much smoother trigger than it had from the factory. And so I've got all this back together, the spring's in place, it goes down here and not up there on that second notch. And I just lined up these slides right here and slid it back into place. Go ahead and cock it and try that trigger out. And as you can see, the trigger now is much lighter than the factory trigger. And when I click it, the gun doesn't want to do this number because it clicks all of a sudden. It's a gentle process because it's kind of cammed over the top of that polished surface. It does have the flat surface still remaining where the gun at complete rest stops. So there's not any chance of this gun getting cocked and going off in my hand on accident because I didn't go that far. I figured out exactly where that line was and I kept well above it. So now I got my clip here with my 9mm rounds. Put one in. And my gun is very functional. Everything is working correctly as it should. And it's ready to be back in my nightstand. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do try this on your own pistol and you would mess it up, those parts are fairly easy to replace. And you can order them from your gun manufacturer as long as your gun's not too old.